More than $1 million of Kansas City tax money has been approved for a local developer currently under federal investigation. The proposal isn't quite a done deal just yet, but as 41 Actions investigator Andy Alcock shows us, it's pretty close.
It's called the Castle Building, but it's hardly fit for royalty. Vacant for nearly 50 years, the building at about 20th and Vine, just south of the historic 18th and Vine district, was once a jail workhouse. Now it's covered with graffiti.
Typically, developers over in this neighborhood, the projects take a long time, and the numbers just never really work.
Dan Edwards knows firsthand. 5 years ago, the developer was working on a plan to make the Castle Building into a community recreation center. He was so fired up about it, he turned the trash-filled nuisance into an outdoor wedding space where he married his wife. While his wedding sure looked regal, his Castle Building Community Center plans didn't work out. What happened?
Yeah, so I think that, politics took over. A lot of personalities.
Edwards recently went to a Plan B, buying this former daycare building to turn into an art center. As for the Castle Building, the owner of the property, V. Weiser Dixon, has now partnered with a developer called Urban America on a nearly $22 million proposal. The idea is to build 36 cottage-style homes there and transform the castle into an administration building.
So far, everything looks like it's on the up and up. V. Weiser knows that, we're there to help him.
Now under federal investigation.
However, as the 41 Action News investigators first reported in September, Dixon is at the center of an ongoing federal investigation. A former Black Economic Union, or BEU, board chairman claims Dixon and others funneled tens of thousands of dollars of that nonprofit housing development group's funds for their own personal use. Dixon denies those claims.
All right, so let's get an update from round one.
That federal investigation involving Dixon wasn't publicly known when this past July, the Central City Economic Development Sales Tax Board recommended more than $1 million of sales tax money be spent to help finance Dixon's Castle Building project.
If you folks had known that at the time, do you think that that would have affected whether or not you would have approved that project?
Well, what I will say is that we would definitely be open to discussing what is appropriate to do in that situation.
1 week before our story on the BEU federal investigation involving Dixon aired, the City Council approved the tax board's money recommendations for Dixon's Castle Building project. Brandon Ellington, a councilman for that district, does not support the plan.
Do you think if your colleagues had known who was involved in this project that they would have voted to approve it?
I don't know that one. I don't know. That's a good one. I don't know the answer.
In addition to the tax board and city council approval, Dixon and his team must negotiate a funding agreement with the city manager in order to get the more than $1.2 million in tax money. A decision on a possible agreement is pending. At the Castle Building, I'm investigator Andy Alcock, 41 Action News.
We want to point out multiple attempts were made to contact Urban America for comment, but there was no response. Dixon declined to comment.